Hello, everybody. Welcome to NUFC Talk TV, another late night show Thursday night. How's it going? We got a good panel going. We got Gary for the second time ever on the show. First time was on a
Hi,
quiz. There we go. And Gary's in the building. Andy Bell and Tim in the chat as well. So, welcome, lads. How's it going? All good?
All good.
Connie.
We
Nice
got
to
to talk.
see you guys.
We got to talk some tune, man. We got to talk some tune. Been a while, Andy. We used to show up on the reaction, so now you're now that you got proper setup, somewhat
Well,
not ready yet, but
it's coming. It was supposed to be today, but apparently I've got to wait for a Father's Day present to go in the room before I can put everything
yeah.
up. So
There you go. That's good, man. That's
it's
good.
coming.
You're getting you set up. All right, so hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, become a member if you can, help the channel grow. You can super chat, you can super sticker, do all of that stuff. And apparently you can do a lot more and get ranks in the chat. So the more you comment, I guess, the more you interact, the higher rank you'll be, I guess. I don't know. Something it looks like that. Everybody's getting crowns and stuff. So but anyways, thank you everyone. Smash the like button, like I said. Don't forget that you can sign up for the membership prediction tournament for the 25-26 season. You don't have to be a member or anything like that. We changed that. All you got to just pay up your £5 and yeah, and participate. All the money gets added up, divided between the top spots, first, second, third, fourth, and maybe more depending on the amount of money. It may be more. So there you go. Sign up. The link is pinned in the chat. It's all in white. And I want to welcome Andy Bell. I got your stuff. I got your sign up.
I can't do any worse than I did this year.
Yeah, no, that's why you gotta come on, man. You ain't taking it serious. That's the problem, man. Some of you are not taking it serious.
Negative
just as
Nelly,
I was.
that's why.
No, it's not. I'm not negative. I'm realistic. That's why I won. Sorry.
No, I'm on about Andy. Andy was keep on getting with to be beat.
I was being a little bit pessimistic at times. I'll be honest.
And you complain about negative attitude. Howie, man, come on, get out of here.
Do as I see.
Double standards. Double standards. Welcome Dean Young as well. He signed up. Who'd you send money for, Derek?
PDK.
PDK. Yeah, we got the McKenzie family. We got a lot of people in the chat already. We right now are at, and we haven't even, we still got a month and a half to go, I think. How much money we got here? Let's see. I'm trying to get to it so I can show. I think it's over $100 if I'm not mistaken. So look at that. It's a good chunk. 108 pounds. A good chunk of money already, man.
108.
Yeah, 108, man. It's only been a week since we started doing it.
That doesn't compute at a fiver.
No, I was just thinking into £5. It doesn't.
Well, I mean that's PayPal telling me that, so I don't know.
Oh, is that dollars?
Yeah, $108. Yeah, that's right. $108 because it does the conversion. So there you go. So I guess it would be $675 every time.
No, be more than that. Be about 85 quid, I would think.
No, it'll be nigh on 100. It's the dollar's strong on the pound at the minute.
What? Get out of
Yeah,
here, man.
yeah. I changed £800 into euros, and I only got 860 euros.
Ain't no way in hell
That's
the dollar is.
euros.
Yeah, euros.
Yeah,
No,
but the dollar's not far off the euro at the moment, is it?
pounds is higher than dollars, man. What world you live in?
I get that, but there's not much in it now. It used to be $1.50 dollars to a pound, didn't it?
It used to be $4 to the pound when I was a Ben.
Yeah, that's back in the day. That
We
was
were still trading most of the
five bob was called $1. 2 and 6 was half $1.
That was a long time ago. But anyways, so that's what it's saying here. But we'll add up everybody's name and add it all up properly anyway when we're closing this up. So, anyways,
£80 it is. 79.58. So that'll be 80 quid.
Yeah.
You've been
there. It is. And we still got until a month and a half so people can sign up. So yeah, sign up, do that, and all right. So I guess we got some contracts, some deadwood. I would hate to bring the word deadwood out in front of Tim, in front of Andy Bell. They might have a nervous breakdown by me just saying, by me just saying, the deadwood. Oh my God, the negativity. But it is what it is, isn't it? We got some players that some shouldn't be playing in the tune. Some maybe deserve another opportunity. Some that we should have for their experience. So yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about all these guys, and I want your insight. There's DX there, DXK, joining late as usual. I'm on the roll tonight, man. What's going on, man? I'm not in the mood. But All right, let's start then with Mighty Win's idol. This is going to be difficult for Mighty Win to. So I'm going to skip him for now. I'm actually going to skip Mighty Win because it's difficult. He might start crying. Let me go to Gary. Um, Gary, Callum Wilson, and let's talk about Callum Wilson. And he is somebody that apparently he said goodbye to everybody in the last match. So I guess that shouldn't be a hard one. But also Eddie Howe has publicly said that he rates him, that he loves him, and all of that stuff. I don't know what like Tina Turner said, I don't know what's love got to do with it, but anyways, so Gary, what do you think about Callum Wilson, mate?
Yeah, I think Eddie's always going to say that he loves him. A, because he does, and B, I think he's the ultimate professional when it comes to making statements like that. But for me, being at the ground that day, Callum Wilson very much looked like he was somebody who was saying goodbye. And me being a fan of the club and a big fan of Callum Wilson, I think he's been great for us. But the amount of games and pitch time he's had for the last 2 years, I think Callum's time is to move on and go and find a new challenge, and maybe at a little bit of a lesser level where you can get fit again and enjoy scoring goals again. But for me, at the minute for Newcastle, or certainly for the last kind of 6 months, I think the injuries and a little bit of age and the level of where we're at and where we're going has probably caught up with him. So for me, I think it's time for Callum to go and have a great end to his career.
Yeah, I think
almost Eddie-esque comments there.
Was it?
Go and find a new challenge.
Yeah, but actually,
right,
Eddie has said that he has never had comments towards him when talking about Wilson that make you believe that he doesn't want him. Actually, with Longstaff, he's changed his narrative. He said that before with Longstaff that we can't assure we can't be certain of anything and blah blah blah. So it's kind of before it was different. Before he was always about Longstaff, and so he hasn't changed his narrative with him, but with Wilson. So I don't know. Is he going to try to convince him? Wayne, let me go back to you, man. So now you wipe your tears off your face. Why can't you just pull the plug? Why do you have to keep trying to beat a dead horse? Why do you have to keep it's on a coma? The patient is gone, man. The brain dead. Why do you have to keep trying to bring Wilson, lie to the English folks and American folks saying that he's going to score 10 goals and going to do all that? He didn't even sniff that amount of goals this season. So go on.
No, I kind of agree with what Gary's saying, but
you're not arguing with me. You're saying the same damn thing.
Only if we get adequate replacements.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm a replacement for Wilson, so I think Osula will be fine.
That's harsh.
Come on, man. It's not harsh. It's reality, man. It's reality. Wilson, he can't. You can count on him. So why do you guys make me be the bad guy? I mean, because I don't understand it. I mean, he's not able to play. He can't compete. Certainly
Chris,
not going to play.
Well, by all accounts, he's fit now. So we've went through the pain of the 2 years.
Man,
if he was a car, you would say he's got the handbrake on, wouldn't you? When you see him now, compared to what he used to be, he looks like he's running around with a handbrake on.
Driving through quicksand, isn't he?
I mean, you guys are saying you guys are English, so nothing will be said about you. But when I say it, it's blasphemy. I don't understand that, man. It's
well, no, you're not the only person saying it. There's plenty English, plenty Geordies saying it.
Yeah. So
when he came back at the turn of the year, I was really hopeful that he would stay fit, that he'd be match fit, and would see him bang 5 or 10 goals in, get his 50 goals, and make a contribution to cup finals and Champions Leagues and all that kind of stuff. Right. And he has stayed fit, but it's not really happened for him. And the fact that I think, in my opinion, he's actually been carrying a bit of an injury. He hasn't played him and he hasn't started him, which kind of makes me think Eddie doesn't think he's quite got it anymore. And it wouldn't surprise me if we offered him a deal to do a pay-as-you-play, but I would very much doubt that he would accept that. And I think he would go on for a new challenge, whether it's at a Leeds or a Southampton or whatever in the Championship, and firing them back up, whatever that might be. But I can't see him staying for me.
So Tim, you've been awful quiet. I know you're battling hard to say what needs to be said, but
No, I mean, believe it or not, I would get rid. And
Ooh, wow,
like,
man.
yeah, you see, I'm not all
We're live,
rainbows
you
and
know. You
yeah, yeah,
realize we're live, right?
yeah. I've said a lot of negative things a lot of times before, believe it or not. It's so yeah, like with Wilson, I think I respect what he's done at Newcastle, and he has been brilliant since he's been here, barring this season. But I think I wouldn't offer him any contract, even if it was pay to play, because to me, if we're trying to get a new striker in, and we're trying to convince that striker to come and play for us with Isak already in the squad, you want to try and manoeuvre enough room as possible to that striker and say, look, you will get games, trust us. We've got Isak for the Prem, and we've got you for the Cups. If Wilson's still there, that's going to put off a striker even more. And you've got Asula. So, no, I respect Wilson, but I think we need to be ruthless. It's not even ruthless. It's just common sense. Just I can see why obviously Eddie Howe loves him, and I can see some might think, well, pay as you play, what you got to lose. I get that. I do get that as well. But I just think if we're trying to get a new striker, we need to go all in on that and work with Isak, new striker, and potentially Asula.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Osola needs to be given time. So
You also got to use the timing as well, haven't you? I mean, you could say that. Let's say we missed out on Champions League. You could say that would be a more appropriate period of time where you could offer him a pay to play. But while you've got Champions League football, that's the time when you're going to be able to attract another good striker. The strikers that you want to replace him, you might not be able to attract if you've not got Champions League. So we've got to strike while the iron's hot, and we've got to put sentimental feelings to the side. Ultimately, we're a business. Yes, okay, it's a sport, but it also is a massive business, and you have to put them feelings to the side and just say, look, unfortunately, the output isn't out paying the wages. Let's be honest.
yeah,
Can't disagree.
can't disagree, man. That's crazy, man. I feel like I'm having this
I'm
is
not forgetting what he has done. I do want to just say that.
Oh my god, we don't want to forget. Yeah, of course we don't forget, man. Fucking hell. DX, what do you think, man? How do you see things in Southampton? Can he go to Southampton? You want him over there?
I don't personally want him over there, but I think he would do a job in the Championship maybe, but he played 22 games last season, 1 goal. It's not really enough.
He didn't play 22 games.
He did.
He did play 22 games, man. It
Um,
just makes no sense.
Add
We want
the
to.
minutes.
Yeah, how many?
22.
In?
Yeah,
he's
but
a
irrelevant,
sub.
irrelevant. He can't go 90 minutes anymore. So it's a moot point. So the thing is that he's the seventh best Premier League striker we've ever had, in my opinion. And you can try and work that out if you want. And yeah, so he's it would be a shame to lose him, but gotta dry your eyes, mate. No, sorry, that's not nice. No, but it's time. It's time for him to go. He's had a great career with us. He has been a brilliant player, and I love Callum Wilson. But I think at some point you have to be honest and you have to say it's time to move on. What worries me is if we keep him and then sign Calvert-Lewin. That would be my
Don't,
my
please.
nightmare. But if Calvert-Lewin came in to replace Wilson, I guess that sort of makes sense. If you bring in another striker, I don't know. But yeah, just like a great player for us over the years. But time to.
I don't even know who you'd. I don't even know if DCL is better.
He's more available, I think, these days. But yeah, a little bit more.
Well,
yeah, I think Wilson sort of will go down as one of our better strikers for sure, especially in the dark days under Ashley and that Champions League season. You have to remember he's missed most of the games.
Yeah.
Callum got 18 league goals, so he was really important in the start of PIF, kind of getting us to where we're going now. So
yeah, but he's not. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I agree with you 100%. But he's not one of the best strikers we've ever had.
not ever, no, but in the Premier League era.
Well, it's all English football, man. Stop with this modernization of it's English football all in ones. Not Premier League.
He's been a good striker though, Chris, hasn't he? You have to say
He's been a good. I just told you. I agree with you 100%. He was helpful. He did great when we were fighting relegation.
He played 357 minutes last season.
No, that can't be right.
That's 357 minutes.
He scored 47 goals for us. Isak has done more than that.
Premier League.
Premier League.
18 games, 357 minutes. That's less than
0
4
goals.
games.
1 assist, 0 assist.
Cup, 2 games in the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where,
I mean,
where he played 12 minutes.
You need to realize you're not helping him, man.
but he played
FA,
90 minutes
FA
against
Cup,
them.
2 games where he played 38 minutes.
You know, it's funny how Wynn uses this narrative, because I remember the other night someone was
Oh,
DCL, Dom McCall, went, well, he's only missed 4 games all season, and one of them was down to a fractured cheekbone. But again, if you switch that narrative, Wynn, how many minutes did he play? He might have been available for games, but one of the worst strikers in the Premier League at the moment is keeping him out of the team.
Oh, in Everton, you mean?
Yeah,
Beto.
or whatever. I mean, Beto couldn't
Yeah,
finish
I mean-
his dinner, so as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, if you're not getting in ahead of him and you're fit, either you're not fully fit, or your manager doesn't rate you.
All I'm saying is to say Callum Wilson played 21 games last season and
But he
didn't
did.
get a goal
But he
is
didn't.
bollocks.
But again, when
But
you
it-
see Albert Lewin's available to be picked and he plays all the time, he doesn't. He might have only missed 4 games.
I'm not.
But he doesn't play
I
games.
haven't even made a comment on Calvert Lewin yet.
No, no, you did the other night, though. I'm just saying you're spinning the narrative tonight, though.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh,
That's
there's
my
VAR around
job.
here, man.
Well,
Good job, Andy Bell. Good job, man.
well,
Holding
we
the
all,
old
we
man
all
to account.
saying goodbye
Oh
to
yeah,
Callum.
100%. I mean, well, I didn't think there was going to be a disagreement, but I guess we got to make a vote and everybody say thumbs down. I know Gary's having a tough time over there.
I'm down with that.
I hope he gets a big payday, though. I'd like him to go to Saudi or something and give
Oh
them a
my
big
God!
payday.
Here's the thing, man. What is going on, man? All these
Well,
great.
that's utopia, isn't it? He goes
All
to
these-
Saudi for 50 mil.
No, but he hasn't got a contract. He's out of contract, isn't he?
No, yeah, no, or else he renews for a year.
Well, we'll give him a quick year's contract
Yeah.
and then sell him for 50 mil.
That'll do.
Works for Wolves with Cunha, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cunha did it with Wolves, signed a new contract in February. Now he's got up. Now he's away.
So, I was thinking of the guys that are, could be called. What is a better word for a deadwood? Give me a better word, because I don't want to be negative anymore.
Obsolete.
I want to. I don't
I
think
haven't got a word, but
that's much of a
surplus to
better-
requirements.
Surplus to requirements.
That's
Okay, yeah. Honorable mentions that need to be retired effective
Mandate.
immediately. Effective immediately. The other one was a homegrown player, really good. I don't like to say good guy, bad guy. I don't know them, but it seems like a cool lad. Is Longstaff. He's been criticized heavily. He's been obliterated by Toon fans, and also praised. He's been the subject of multiple debates. He's also been unfairly put in a situation where people have to criticize him, myself included, because ultimately it's not really his fault that he was put to compete against Tonali, because it's not even, it's hunting at the zoo, fishing in the barrel, whatever you want to call it. It's not even fair for him to be in the competition with Tonali. But the manager put him in that situation, to be fair. And he trusted him over Tonali. So that's this season in itself. That's what really got a lot of heat towards Longstaff. I don't think he is as bad player as people think he is, but I don't think that he is anybody to really move the needle. So therefore, he's on what, probably $40K a week or something like that. That would be interesting to have their contracts. So that is somewhat, I mean, not a crazy contract, but for somebody that you really doesn't move the needle, should we keep
50K.
somebody? Okay, so $50K. So listen.
$2.5 million a year.
So should we keep somebody like that? Now, he is a body in the midfield. I've heard Mighty Wynn say that he couldn't even put 2 passes together, and then he tried to say that he should be in the team because of some imaginary stat.
It's not an imaginary stat.
That when he played, we won all of a sudden. So we still didn't know what he was doing. And Wynn said himself, I don't know what he's doing. So
Absolutely.
I don't understand that. But Longstaff, what do we think about Shawnee? I know he's a Geordie and he's, God in the tune. So, it's kind of difficult. But to me, he's got to go as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's either or, isn't it? You have to get rid of either Willock or Longstaff.
No, I'd get rid of them both.
No, but then if you get rid of both, then you're going to have
But
to
you
buy-
got to make a sign.
Well, we've got to
You have to make a
replace
sign.
them. Yeah, of course we do.
And we need one of them, I think, just as a backup. So,
But at some point you have to do it. Like you have to bring in players. You can't just keep saying, "Yeah, well, we got to sign," and then
Yeah.
At some point, you
You
just
don't
got.
want to be selling before you buy, is what I'm saying.
5-year deal.
But I would assume that we wouldn't sell them if we knew we couldn't buy anybody. So I guess that's going to be kind
Well,
of.
that's what you would hope.
Well, I mean, I think anybody that can see two fingers in front of them will assume we can't get rid of these players because we can't buy them. We can't buy a replacement, right? They know the money. They know how much money we got and how much we can spend. So I guess that's we'll be able to tell if we don't sell Longstaff or get rid of Willock or anybody in the midfield or anybody for that matter by I don't know July sometime. Then we know we're in a tough situation to get anybody in. So I don't know who wants to jump in and have a conversation.
Well, I think I would personally sell Willock of the two, and I know that's I wouldn't have said
Really?
that a few weeks ago, but just seeing the rumored transfer fees, Willock has a bit more of a fee that he could bring in a bit more money. He's become so injury prone now that I just think he's a liability. Whereas Longstaff's always available. He's not a great player, but he's always available. So of the two, I'm just leaning towards getting Willock out the
What do
door.
we always say?
The best ability is
Availability is the best
one.
ability.
So yeah, that's the way I go.
Sorry, for me, I think Longstaff, like you were saying, Chris, you said that he's not as bad as people think. I think for me, he wasn't playing as bad as people thought. Like you say, I think the issue was you had Tonali there who wasn't playing, and because everyone wanted Tonali to be in the pitch, people were kind of putting a magnifying glass over Longstaff and picking up every little fault. And I think he did play well in some of those games at the start of the season. Arsenal 1-0, for example. And I think it was inevitable Tonali was going to come in anyway at some point. But since then, I think Longstaff has regressed a lot. And I know obviously it is hard when you come on the pitch and you haven't had a run of games. I get that. But whenever he has came on as a sub, I think he's just not at the level. You know, even as a combative or athletic, competitive midfielder getting up and down the pitch and getting in the goal scoring opportunities. I haven't even seen that when he's came on the pitch in that half of the season. So I think his confidence was kind of on the floor a bit. So to me, I think if you can get money and he's homegrown as well, so obviously it's for FFP, it's good. If you can't sell them, I think we should. But I know what you said, DX, like about Willock, because ideally you would get rid of both of them. And you would sign, you've got then, and I've said all along, you get Miley and then sign a young up and coming midfielder, and potentially those two can compete with the big three in the middle. Ideally, you could maybe do something like that, but it's easier said than done. That's what I'm thinking.
I think this summer's the most money we're ever going to get for Willock or Longstaff. To be honest, I think their values are only going to go down from here.
No, so let me go to Gary then, because is it really well? First of all, what you think about Longstaff and even Willock, but is there really? And after Gary, I guess you guys can answer as well. Is it like nobody wants them? Like really? Like are they that horrible where not a team really is interested? That's shocking to me. You know. So Gary, go on, man.
I'd be surprised if nobody wanted him. To be honest, I think for me, I'm just going to talk about Longstaff. I'm not going to go on to Willock yet because I could be here all night and get myself in knots. But Longstaff for me is a player he's got to play more regular. I think he's not. You're right. Like for whatever reason, Newcastle fans, we do this. Sometimes we criticise our own more than like players that don't come from the area. And I think what you said before about the spotlight being on him more because Tonali was on the bench. I think all of that was true, and I think that didn't help him. However, he's got a year to go on his contract. He's not someone for me who comes on and can make a difference to a game when you're looking for a breakthrough. Yes, you could maybe bring him on when you want to try and show things up. But for me, he's got a year to go. Sell him for a PSR bit. I think not just for that. I think Miley's got to get more minutes if he's going to come on. And I'm really excited about Miley as a player. So you need to get Miley closer to the first team. And I don't know, controversially, could we sell both of them, and then maybe send one to the Forest, give them some money, and go and get Anderson back, because Anderson looks a player, and Joe Linton's potentially getting a little bit injury prone now and getting on a little bit, so he'd be a perfect shoe in to kind of slot in for any of those.
Gary.
Yeah. So yeah, Longstaff is an unfortunate no, but I think Longstaff would benefit from getting out of town. I think an Everton and Leeds type of club would be great for him. Mid-table player.
Gary Howe, do you think Sean should go and find a new challenge?
I do. I think he deserves it. I think he deserves a good payday. And
I deserve a better payday, man. Come on.
He's only got a year left, right? So you either sell him now, or he's going to stay here, play 7 games next season, and then leave for nothing. So sell him now.
Yeah, but Gary, what you said, what you said just a minute ago was so spot on. It's difficult because he is a player that doesn't change the needle when you bring him in, and you really don't want to start him. So you really don't know what to do.
He's also had that moment, hasn't he? He's won his trophy as a Geordie. He's always forever going to be part of that squad. I think the big problem that you've got with Longstaff is with him being local, and the fact that whoever he goes to is arguably not going to pay him anywhere near what he's on at the moment. I mean, 50 grand a week, as much as it's not big money in the Premier League. If he's to go to the teams that potentially he's going to get in their sides, are they going to be able to pay him the amount of money that he's on? So I think that's partly part of the problem. He's a difficult one to move on, especially when his heartstrings are here as well. But again, it comes back to, we thought he was a decent player when he was playing in the midfield without top players in. Unfortunately for him, he's just been highlighted the fact that he's a good player, but the players that have come in are far better.
But Andy, I get the feeling that he does want to leave. I just got a feeling that his morale didn't seem the same at the end of last season, and
yeah, great.
He's coming on and like we've said that he just doesn't look the same kind of player at the moment. I think it was Tim was saying that he was sort of coming on at the end of the season, wasn't the same as the beginning of the season. So yeah, I think this is the time we have to.
I think if anybody had asked him after Rafa left, look, in 4 years' time, you're going to have the opportunity. You've won a trophy.
For your hope, yeah.
You've played in the Champions League, and you've got the opportunity to go and refresh your career, give your career a kickstart at 26, 27. Mm-hmm. I think you would have taken that opportunity. You put your hand off.
I think he's done. On personal achievement, he's achieved something that no Newcastle fan could ever dream of. Play for the tune, let alone win a trophy. So that in itself needs to be highlighted. Thank you, Lenny B, for becoming a member. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. And everybody, please become a member if you haven't. Get exclusive content, giveaways. We got to do some giveaways, Win. Stop keeping the money for yourself, man. Come on.
That would be
stop Stop giving the money for yourself. All right, sign up for the prediction tournament 25-26 season. Link is pinned in the chat. £5 to sign up for the whole season. All right, so actually, Gary, you didn't want to answer about Willock. What happened, man? You're not a fan?
That's what you owe us already.
Wait, you get paid? I'm joking.
No, I'm a big fan of Willock, or I certainly was a big fan of Willock, and like the last couple of months, I'm coming back to the team. I was really hopeful that we were going to see the best of him. I'm still on the fence for me with Joe Willock. I think again, it's coming back to that match fitness thing. I'm not sure he quite got up to the match fitness level that we needed to see him at his best. Showed flashes of it. For me, I don't know how many years he's got left on his contract, but for me, I would possibly, if Sean was going, then I'd probably be going. I would keep Willock. I think he's worth. I think he carries the ball well. He's a goal threat. He's getting bigger as well. I don't know if this is him trying to come back differently from his injuries, but he seems to be twice the size he was 18 months ago. Around the shoulders and all that kind of thing. So maybe he's getting stronger. I don't know. So for me, if Sean's going, then I would keep Willock. But ask me last week, I would probably have a different opinion. Ask me next week, and I might have another one as well. But at the minute, I would keep.
He's just so inconsistent. You never know which Willock is going to turn up, and that's
football to a large extent is about partnerships.
No,
Willock's best games have always been
all sayings.
Always been when he's been on the left wing with J7.
Yeah. There you
That's
go.
when he's had
So,
his proper,
well,
proper
the worst
performances.
thing for a manager is like a player that needs to have another player to play with for him to play good. That's the worst. That's the worst nightmare that any manager can possibly have. So
Well, I don't
if
think Alex Ferguson thought it was a nightmare when he had Dwight Cole and
What
Dwight
doesn't Joe
York and Andy
Harvey
Cole.
did when he had John Tudor and Malcolm McDonald
are we
either.
really doing this, or are you guys just trying to?
Shearer Ferdinand.
Are you guys just trying to get the chat to obliterate you? Because if that's what you want, to just keep saying that. If you want to compare Joe Willock, Joe Willock to those guys,
No,
then
we're saying
we're in a bad situation.
We're on about partnerships.
Yeah, but those partnership are not crucial to the team.
But
They're
they
not.
are.
But with Willock though, what it is like
Murphy, Isaac.
Willock is
God.
better going forward. So when Willock plays in the middle of a three, and if he had like Joe Linton on the left, it allowed the two to rotate. So Willock could get into dangerous areas and play off the front man and get into the box. That's what he's good at. And when he's playing in the three and he hasn't got somebody to cover for him and he's having to come back as well. I think there was a game, I think it was away at Chelsea last season where Palmer just ghosted behind him and he just didn't track him. He hasn't got the instincts of a midfielder in that three. And I think I've said all along again, like for me, he's a number 10 off the old-fashioned number 10 off the striker. He's not a playmaker, but he'll link off the striker and get on the end of things. And we're not going to play towards his strengths that way.
What I noticed this season with Willock was he was still getting into the positions that he'd done when he was going through his good patch. But when he was getting there, his shot or his cross or his pass was just abysmal.
Yeah,
He has moments in games, doesn't he,
So
that
much for
overshadow sometimes how ineffective he is in games at times. You'll have a moment in a game, or you'll have a great run, or you'll have a 5-minute period where he gets you off your seat and you're thinking, oh, he's going to do something here, and then for the next 20 minutes you don't see him.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one because he had a purple patch, didn't he, on loan, which was very similar to Miggy's purple patch. It was the same sort of number of games, same number of goals, pretty much. He looked incredible, but then ever since he signed on a permanent deal, he's had his moments, but that goal
Since
scoring.
the injuries, really, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if it's just that. His goal scoring has just gone down the toilet.
He was playing off Callum Wilson then, I think. He was literally just playing
he
behind
was sort
Callum
of number
Wilson.
10 role, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
The higher up the pitch he is, as well, it saves his legs for them attacking moments rather than him having the responsibility of getting back. Then when he does get the ball, he's kind of recovering from the run he's just had to make.
We're hearing like Fulham might be interested.
In the cup final for me, that last 10 minutes, he got, there was a few times he got the ball and took out the danger zone. And I'm not saying that's the only reason you should keep him, but I think it was one of the comments that I saw. He is a runner, but he's very, very good and willing runner.
Carries the ball.
But that's the thing though. He has the skill to really do great. But also somebody was saying he's a 10. We just don't play with a 10. So he's just never gonna work out because Eddie Howe doesn't play with a 10, and so I don't know. I don't even know. I guess he can still be a sub. I think that could work. But we can't depend on Willock. That's a fact. I think we need to make there's a McAtee guy. From
I wouldn't say,
Not convinced.
but I would say with more games next season and more chances to rotate some of the players, when you're playing, cup games against lower league sides and maybe teams at the bottom when we've been playing Champions League on a midweek and stuff like that, then he's somebody I would trust in that kind of game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The one I would have liked is that Alvarez guy who's just joined Everton. I think he would have been good.
Yeah.
Well, Douglas Luiz would be a good one because he could play in the role that.
Was that Alvarez from West Ham?
No, Alvarez from Southampton actually. But he went no. Then he went to South America. Then he went to Everton.
Okay.
Carlos, isn't it?
Carlos, yeah.
Carlos Alvarez. Okay, so next one that I see brought up by the Chronicle, because these are like the 9 contracts that Newcastle must make a decision on. Basically, the guys that are not sure they're going to stay or, whatever. So Kieran Trippier is the next one here. What should we do with him? He's been, for some parts of the season, that his head wasn't in with the team or in the game, basically. Had personal issues, but then he came back to the bright side and he really had some stellar performances,
Yeah.
especially in the Carabao Cup. Crucial for the tune in the Carabao Cup. So I think we should do everything to keep him and keep him happy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Keep him for one more year, definitely, at least. Like he's such a good.
His
option.
experience in Champions League could be crucial.
Yeah.
I would definitely keep him as well, but I think the issue might be he might want guaranteed first team football at this stage of his career. He might want to go. He knows he's got like 1 or 2 years left, and like the rumours were last season that he wanted to be first choice. You know, I mean, we've got a lot of games coming up, so you could say, well, you'll get your fair share, but Tino's still ahead of him, isn't he? So I think if he's pushing for a move, that could be difficult, where it's like, okay, you've got an unhappy player there, quote unquote, even though he's professional. So it's a tricky one that way. But if he was happy to carry out the same role he did last season, then absolutely, I'd keep him. Like,
yeah.
Now,
And
how
bear
far?
in mind, we're all assuming that Lewis Hall is going to come back from his injury
That's my question. When is Lewis Hall supposed to be back?
and be the same player.
Oh, I don't think at 20 years old, I don't think
he's going to be the same player. The thing is, when is he going to be back?
Is that possibly why we're looking at Hernandez at PSG?
Well, that could be. That's on the left side. I mean, I think we, other than win, we can all agree.
I think if we've got trips there, you've got the automatic. You know what worked so well at the back end of the season there with Tino on the left.
Yeah, but you can't put Trippier in too many games, man. He has to alternate. He can't play every game. He can't be the starting right back every game of the season. He can't be that.
You can't be asking that at the age he is either. You can't be asking that. It's unrealistic.
So you got Livramento there, Trippier there, and
no, but even if you're saying Trips is backup for Livramento, we're still going to need a backup. if Hall becomes injury prone, whatever,
and just when
you
you
need a left back anyway.
When you start talking like that,
there's a bone in his foot, wasn't
it? See, that's why when we start having this conversation, then all of a sudden we start finding holes that we need to fill, and nobody was talking about a left back, right? So we need a center forward, center back. But now we opened up another kind of worm
on the left back because we had Matt Target, Dan Burn, and Kelly.
Well, yeah, we still got Matt Target. We're going to get to him, or maybe we can skip and just get to him. Is he going to be enough? And I don't think so. I don't think Matt Target doesn't even look like a footballer to me, man.
I think the age of Lewis Hall, when you start putting demands on someone so young that much, you need a good left back and back up. So I can see what Wynn's saying as well. Trippier can back up at left back as well as right back. But I think the Hernandez one is more for Europe. I think it's his experience in the European competitions. If Lewis Hall is... Let's say he's not injured, but he's struggling with the demands on his body. Bear in mind, he's still very young. Your body doesn't mature until your mid-20s. I personally think he's not there just to back up Lewis Hall. He's there to learn off Hernandez as well.
If your body barely matures at 20, what does it make Win? That means he's like a...
I'm like a well-matured wine.
Oh, man.
His rosebud's not finished. Come out yet.
But as for Target, I think, he's Target a massive disservice.
Oh, cool.
Oh, my God.
Mate,
he is not
a disaster, let's be honest. He's been a disaster.
He's been a great loan signing.
He has not been a disaster at all.
No, he has. He has on a permanent deal. On loan, he was very good, but after that, it's not worked out.
He's had injuries.
Yeah, that's disastrous.
It's ended no fault of his own, but it's been a disaster.
That doesn't prevent.
He is on a £100,000 per week.
Correct.
He should never be on that. Yeah. And just to start the conversation, he doesn't even play. Man. He plays when everybody is knackered. So that alone, and we say we can't afford to pay Mbuemo this amount of money. Look at the guys we're paying, man. All this money to
get rid of him.
So we cannot. And listen, at some point, but this is the thing, though, that I don't know, and could be a criticism towards Eddie. But I don't know that Eddie has the. I'm trying not to be negative, Tim. But what can I use? Give me a synonym for bullocks. Somebody give me a synonym for the personality. The personality. Let's do that. I don't know that Eddie Howe has the personality to say, Mr. Target, you're not going to play no more. You're not priority for me. You're not going to play, unfortunately. Other players are ahead of you. So you got to find yourself a team. That right there, you get that conversation with the player. He knows. Either he values his money, which they can, but the vast majority will want to play. They will try to do themselves a favor and find a club, not just wait for an offer to happen, right? So I think that's the hard conversation that Eddie needs to have with some of these players if we want to get rid of them. I don't know that Eddie
For
can
me,
do
I
that.
think, Chris, I think he's shown that by playing Dan Burn at left back last season.
100%.
The fact that you've got $100,000 left back there that couldn't get in ahead of a centre half, a makeshift centre half, or a makeshift at left back. That says it all for me. That what Eddie thinks of him, and we probably can't get rid of him because he's on $100,000 a week.
Yeah,
you can't put any long-term thought into him because you know he's going to pick up an injury.
The problem is that when we signed Target, we were second bottom, so we needed to get players in, and he came fairly cheap as well. So that was kind of offset by,
wasn't it, Tim? That was.
But yeah, sorry, yeah, exactly. So there was no fee. So that's going to happen anytime a player will demand high wages. And like I say, the fee wasn't. I don't think it was massive. I think a Target. I think right when he's fit, I think he's a good. Or like when he first came through on loan, I think he was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But then then the next season, like you said with Dan Burn playing left back, I think that was. I can only think anyway. It was kind of to do with when we had those three centre backs, if you like. You got Burn, Botman, and Cher. Then you had Trippier bombing on. It's like a system where we had the comfort of those three centre backs essentially. Even though Burn was left back, you had the three centre backs as safety net and let Trippier bomb on. I think Eddie Howe preferred that over having Targeting, who's better going forward, obviously as left back as Burn, but didn't give that assurance going the other way. So I think Target was then the victim of that, and I still would have played him more in that season anyway, rotated more. But after that season, it's got to the point now, I think, where because he's played so little, he's more susceptible to injuries. You know, when you're not sharp when you're coming on, and you pull the hamstring, so he's just injury prone now. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out going forward.
So then we definitely need a backup left back. If Hernandez is a possibility, I'd take him in a heartbeat. You know. So I think we can agree that the Trippier must stay. And go on, Danny.
The other thing that you can think of is if Hernandez starts left back ahead of Lewis Hall, it also adds another centre midfielder into your ranks as a backup because Lewis Hall can play centre midfield. So if we were to lose Longstaff and Willock, you're not gaining a centre midfielder as such as in dominant one. He can help you out in that situation. If you've got Hernandez starting, you've got another centre midfielder option, and he can change a game off the bench, which is more than what Longstaff can do.
I would just say as well, like, I think if you've got, some might not want him to stay, but if you've got Kraft as well as the other two right backs, that then gives more kind of credence for Tino being the backup left back if we don't sign a left back, potentially. I mean, from what I've seen, I'd take Hernandez as well, but I think that's something to think about as well.
Hey, Steve in the chat is saying that Beckham is finally getting a knighthood. So would you look at that? Is he going to be, for what? I mean, I don't know if you guys. What do you guys do that for? It's like
kicking an Argentinian, I think.
Services to football.
Oh, so is that what it is? That's why you get to be called a sir? Is that's it?
No, probably like his.
It has to do with football only.
Probably his charity.
Plenty football in nights.
I know, but it has to do with football only.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
What?
He's like a member of some big charity as well.
Yeah, you got to do something else, man. Come on, man.
I hope it's nothing to do with Epstein.
Oh, yeah.
Stanley Matthews did nothing but football.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean,
Bobby Moore.
I don't know what Andy Bell is trying to show us there, but regardless, some like Bobby Robson is only football, but he transcended. I mean, he was a great guy.
And I got a knighthood for me.
So I guess we're gonna have to call Beckham Sir Beckham. Is that how you say it? Sir David. Yeah, Sir David. Yeah, not Beckham. You can tell I don't give a damn about no knighthood. Anyways, so let's continue then. So we already touched on Trippier and Target. The next one,
Hernandez is only 85k a week.
That's not bad. That
easy money, man.
It's not bad.
I mean, to be honest, he has the pedigree to start over Lewis Hull any game.
But are we going to then
Now, go on.
annoy Lewis Hall, put his nose out of joint if we start suddenly putting him back on the bench? Because, he was so good as the left back.
I don't want to interrupt.
that many games that you'll not be worried.
I mean, yeah, exactly. He's young, and I think we got a lot of games, man. I think, but I say that, but honestly, most teams play for the Premier League and Champions League the same team. So you putting Lewis Hall for the Carabao Cup and FA Cup might not be what he likes, but I mean, that's kind of the way it goes, man. When somebody that's better than you comes into the ranks, what you gonna do? The team comes first. Team comes
I'm
first,
not
man.
putting anybody in a Newcastle United team in front of a current England international.
And that's why
Hernandez is just a French international, won the World Cup not too long ago, so I guess that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all.
You wouldn't put Botman in ahead
that
of
doesn't
Burnley.
matter at all.
narrow-minded look at it. Such a narrow-minded look at it. So you're
Exactly,
not
man.
You're not going to put, I don't know, Virgil van Dijk ahead of Dan Burn because Dan Burn's putting finger in there,
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Botman for Burn.
Come on, man. Listen,
I mean, put him in
Spain-
jail, really.
the best Spain and France were fighting over Hernandez to play for him. A World Cup winner, French. Come on, man. I don't understand. This guy wants the English Empire to come back, man. Anyways, so Fabian Schär, let's talk about him, shall we? He's you about to give us copyright, fools. We'll take that away. But Fabian Schär, he just got a contract, and I'm talking about Win playing the highlights in the back of his head.
All right.
Just the Dan Burn highlight.
Yeah, well, you got only one in his whole career, so that says something. Fabian Schär.
If I get quite a few there, Paris Saint-Germain.
Fabian Schär, integral for the first. I mean, according to Howe, he plays them every time. He's got another year. So, but the thing is, though, if we bring somebody for Schär, I mean, if you bring Mark Gay, he's not going to play.
He'll play some games, and I think that's fine. I think at this point in his career, he'll be all right.
Or will he play over Burn?
You've got to keep him. I think he's still an important squad member, even if we bring in the big guns or the young guns.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I personally think if we're saying Gahey, he'll move Gahey over to the right-hand side of the centre-backs as much as Wynn says he's played predominantly as a left-sided centre-back. Yes, he has, but he's right-footed. So if he can't play there, that's his problem, not Eddie's problem. I think it would be him and Botman. That would be the ideal.
Ooh,
I think you're rotating. Dan Burn is such a big...
Hey, I cannot believe Andy Bell came out with that heat, man. He just literally took out Burn. He took out the whole center back, both center backs.
From Blythe and all,
So I think that's too much. Yeah, but Eddie Howe's not going to do that. He couldn't do it. He
Burn was arguably player of the season last year.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He was top three.
Top five probably, but
top three easily.
Listen, Tonali.
No. Tonali, Isak.
Dan Burn, who he thinks is better than him in the squad. I think he's put Botman ahead of him. And he's actually said that in a video. Said Botman's the best centre-back he's played with.
That's because he's very self-deprecating.
Anyway, Botman can't play every week anyway because of his, his injuries are going to flare up.
Well, no, but hold on, no, DX, we can't be, we can't get just comfortable with that. I mean, if he is injury prone, then we need to find a way for him to be sold. I think that's you can't have somebody that's injury prone that has an issue be the norm. It just can't. I mean, look at I forgot Woodgate. That wasn't a norm. People say he was one of the greatest center backs to ever play for Newcastle. Only played one season. Yeah. How would that be? So
we sold him to Real Madrid.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him one of the greatest center backs for Newcastle United. That doesn't make
Woodgate. He was fit. Ironically enough, for us, he was actually fit most of the time. At Leeds, he wasn't. In Real Madrid, he wasn't. But for us,
I didn't think he was most of the time.
Never missed a game.
I would say more often than
great
not.
Season. Yeah,
he only played about 35 games for us, though.
Yeah,
but he was only there one season.
The point is with Botman, though. I mean, if that's an issue that he has, then he can't be a starter for Newcastle United.
I think these little niggling injuries he's getting now is simply down to the fact that he's you've got to remember how old's Botman? 23, 24, 23?
24.
He's a 6'5" absolute athletic unit. When you're so athletic, you are going to pick up niggling muscle injuries. And when you've had such a serious injury, the load gets put on other parts of your body, and his body's not had them demands for nearly a year. He's going to pick up small little injuries. Once he gets give him 6 months, you will see him have a run. If you're right, Chris, in 2 years and he's keep getting injuries, flog him. But I think he's that good. I would swallow a few little niggle injuries.
Well, I think
that's fine.
Fabian Schär used to get a lot of injuries, didn't he? Now he never seems to miss it.
Yeah.
Well,
Never.
What do you think, Gary?
For me, it's a no-brainer. I would keep Fabian absolutely 100%. Whether he plays 15, 20 or 30 games, he plays through injuries. I think he very rarely gets injured, but I think you play with niggles. I think he's a quality footballer. I think for me, he's one of the best signings in the last kind of 10 years that we've had for the money we've paid for him.
Yeah.
I think he's a good head. I know he can lose his head sometimes, but he's a good head for the young'uns around him, coming in to the squad and learning the game, and he loves it here. And he's said himself he wants to retire here, and I think he'd be happy or content playing less of a major part as he ages over the next couple of years. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I would keep him.
Alessandro Minetti coming. Was like, he takes balls that Eddie Howe doesn't have to bench Schär and Burn. Eddie just grew out of his Longstaff obsession. He won't bench his main guys, even if they are in a wheelchair. He's stubborn. Man, Alessandro. Tough, right to the bone. Right to the bone. Well, I mean, he has a point though. I don't, Eddie Howe is very loyal. He's very loyal to a fault at times. So will he let go of his favorite goalkeeper, Nick Pope, as well? That's the next one. He's been linked to go to Leeds, I think, right? Leeds, was it?
Yeah.
And we are apparently is a done deal that we're going to sign Trafford. Is Trafford going to be the starter? I mean, he's been talked about to Newcastle so much that he has to start now, I think, or else what's the point? Every window we've gone to get him.
I'm with Win. I would not sell Pope for Trafford. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, what if you keep Pope and Trafford and just rotate them a bit? Well, do you know, I think we might have to sell Pope if we get Trafford and have DeGrafter as the backup, though. I can't see how you could have.
Let him go and find a new challenge.
As long as we sell the other goalkeeper, we'll probably talk about it in a bit. Then.
But the thing, is, again, we talked about, we found an issue with the left back, center back, center forward, midfielders, if you get rid of Longstaff. But the goalkeeper, we worry about that, and I don't understand why. We point energy in that. And listen, Dubravka, nobody talks about Dubravka no more, but you could possibly say he's one of the main guys that saved the season as well, because he performed really well.
If we're to a goalkeeper, why we're not obviously Milan's Magignon that Chelsea's left after 15 million quid with a year left on his deal? He's one of the best goalkeepers in Europe.
How old is he?
27, I think.
Oh, is he that young? Okay.
27, 28, maybe 28, but I still think that's you're still going to get like Pope. What was Pope when we signed him? 28, 29?
He was 30 when we signed him.
Yeah.
But I think all our goalkeepers are over 30, aren't they?
He's 33 right now.
He was 31, was paid 10 million quid for. I'd go for Magignon at AC Milan.
Oh, he's 30.
Yeah, he's good. The Magallanes guy is good. I mean, he's good. He's good.
Okay, a bit older than I thought. Okay, but still 15 million quid.
Yeah, he's
July 95. So yeah, coming up 30.
And so
very good though.
If you're gonna get if you really want to focus on a goalkeeper, then you got to go out there and get a good one. And I mean, a good one means a really good one. Like, if not, then what's the point? I mean, they just keep Pope. Trafford, I guess you can say that Eddie Howe and the people that are making this work think that Trafford will be England's future in goal. Do they have a point?
I think that might be it. I think. I think that they're probably looking at Trafford, and I haven't seen enough of him really to give a proper informed opinion. But they probably think, like in a few years' time, he will be right up there. and let's get him now before anybody else does. It's a bit like the Tino and the Lewis Hall deals where you kind of set then for the next 10 years with these players.
Right.
And I think it's a difficult one again because with Pope, he's an amazing shot stopper. I think at the end of the season, he's shown his quality again in that regard. But then obviously with his feet, he's not great, and we'll just have to decide what we need to do or what we want
Very
to do
keen.
going forward. Yeah, he's you're not going to play out the back, obviously, like you could potentially with him in goal. So do we go ahead with that? And obviously his shot stopping is amazing. He commands the box well. He works well with the high line, which is also another part of the way we play. So maybe it's a case of going with him for one more season and getting Trafford. But I mean, if Trafford, I mean, like some people say, if you're good enough, you're old enough. So like, I wouldn't be averse to Trafford coming in, just being number one and having Nick Pope as number two if Trafford is good enough, and then Pope can go the following season.
Shea Given became our number one when he was 22, didn't he? 21,
Yeah.
22. So
I think Dean Henderson's been brilliant for Palace.
he has been good.
Yeah.
So if Trafford is going to get the number one shirt, I think long term he's going to be fighting with him. So that'll show how good he is if he can get ahead of Dean Henderson. But I don't think so world beater, but I think he's a good goalkeeper.
Well,
but you're probably going to be paying silly money for him.
I think we haven't brought it up, but I think that the another main concern could be that Eddie Howe's realizing that he can't trust Pope. I mean, with the style of football that he wants, that maybe we barely got by, and he maybe got better a little bit. I mean, I guess you could pass him the ball at the end of the season, but that's a big deal if he doesn't trust that he can carry the ball. Remember against Liverpool, just that I remember doing the commentary, and I said I told the guys, just don't pass it to Pope. That's all you got to do. Just don't pass it to him. As soon as I say that, somebody passes it to him, and then he almost gave it to Salah, and I almost had a heart attack as I was watching it.
It's not so much he's kicking, is it? It's when he receives the initial first pass back to him. It's his first touch.
You know what it is. You know what it is. It's the feeling of any of us throw us on the pitch right now, and somebody give us the ball. That feeling of panic, that feeling that everybody's looking at you, that everybody's coming at you at once. I think that's what he has. That terror. That, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do now. So
you probably feel our terror.
Yeah.
You probably pick our vibe.
I think he's got a hot potato at his feet, isn't it? I don't think he's kicking is massively the issue when he's just got to smack it. Or
well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
With any pace going back to him, I do this.
I think he's a really good keeper, though. I think in big games like the Chelsea game, and the Chelsea game really is what got us into the Champions League, isn't it, that win? And he was brilliant in that game, made 2 fantastic saves. So
that's never been a problem. All right, so let's move on then to we talked about targets. So Jamal Lascelles, did he get a new contract?
Yeah, I think they get
a new contract. So is that a contract just to say, all right, you were hurt, let me just not kick you down when you're hurt, type of thing, or do we really think that Jamal Lascelles will do anything?
Well, I think it was to protect our investment, wasn't it? So it couldn't walk on a free.
Right.
After we'd paid his salary for a year on the bench.
I genuinely can't see us signing someone like Gahey or another centre half and keeping Shea and keeping Lascelles. Doesn't make sense to me.
Is he classed as a homegrown?
Murphy coming through in that, and maybe it is a champion thing, but
I think Lascelles is more standard setter in training and behind the scenes. I think that's why he's getting that deal first.
Yeah, but I mean, he's what, third choice, and then probably alongside he still plays Kraft sometimes at centre half as well, or has done. So he's an expensive person to have in the dressing room for me, I think.
What's he on, Win? You got the twat numbers?
40.
Hey man, see, look at just add it up.
Well, 40K now.
No, Win. Stop with your payment BS theory, man.
So you got 2 million last year for effectively not playing.
Target on 100. I mean, so that's 140.
He's a proper centre half. He's strong. He's really, really physical. He's much more physical than Shea is, and Gahey for me is still a little bit small as a centre half, but I just don't see him getting any game time. That's the thing for me. That's why
but
it's time to sell him.
To
I'll be
wins
honest,
effect.
that's a bad thing.
Here's the thing. If he can prove his fitness to the extent that he can pass a physical,
Sure
Crystal Palace are going to need a centre half.
Oh my! So what are you gonna do? A swap? What do you
Part
think this is, man? Like
Good
a FIFA
trader.
25?
Did you
Come
see
on,
his
man.
WhatsApp? Did you see his WhatsApp suggestion, by the way?
No, I didn't actually.
Well, what was it? When we're gonna give them Lascelles,
We'll give
Miley,
them
and
Lascelles
50 million for
and 50
Gahey.
million.
Yeah, and 50 million for Gahey and Eze, was it?
No, Wharton.
Wharton, sorry. And then we'll have a buyback clause for 80 million for Miley. I mean, that's
Buyback
great.
clauses don't exist. When stop. You know what a buyback clause is? A loan. That's what it is. There's no such thing as a buyback clause in
That's
football.
good business.
Never. But
Shows
come
how
on,
little
man.
you know.
There is none. There's not a single player once that's been bought back. That doesn't exist. That's called a loan. Yeah, don't listen to Win, man. We just have him here to prove me right.
A couple of players last season, didn't they?
But who are you saying?
Manchester City had the buyback.
Okay, whatever, man. Jamal Lascelles, listen, I think we could give him time, but he's on the 40K though. He's got to play. People who's got to work. Like all of us got to go to work for a living. So players need to work as well. They need to find themselves useful. If they're hurt all the time, then it's unfortunate.
You can't play 22 players.
Well, yeah, thank you for inventing that rule. But my point is that you have to be available. And if he's not, then, I don't know, his body gave up, just like Callum Wilson. If that's the case, then unfortunately, we are supposed to be in fighting for it to be in elite levels. In elite level, we're supposed to be trying to be in elite levels, and we can't be that if we're not running a Catholic church here, man. We gotta be ruthless. Unfortunately, that's the name of the business, man. We gotta get results. So I don't know. We talked about a little bit of Sven Botman and Mark Gahey coming on. By the way, Gary said about Gahey, he doesn't trust his size. Maybe I think I rate Gahey. I do. And using Wynn's rule, he's part of the English Empire team, so that means he should be great all of a sudden. So,
on the left.
If that, oh my God, listen, I'm trying to help you out, man. Don't say it, man. Don't say it. I'm trying to help you out. People in the chat, he doesn't mean that.
I don't need your help.
People in the chat, all 100 plus of you watching, he doesn't mean that. He's just joking. So don't obliterate him in the chat, please. Dan Byrne. I think he's obviously had a really good season. But if Gahey comes and Botman is ready, what do we do?
Drop him. Simple as that. If Botman's fit, you drop Byrne.
I don't
know.
You drop Share and move Botman over. Because
honestly,
you can play any side.
Go back to the first half against Chelsea.
Yeah, that's fine, but if you got Botman.
That is the best centre-back performance on the ball I've seen in Newcastle shirt all season. He was breaking the lines, playing past their midfield into our midfield so often. That's something unfortunately Dan Burns just can't do. He'll play the simple pass and he'll play it wide and he'll go sideways. Very rare you'll see Dan Burn play a ball that is 6 foot in between two midfielders pressing him into our midfield. Botman played fantastic.
And you see Botman play less.
Sorry?
Botman is the player who passes sideways to Burn, sideways to...
Watch the first half back win before you say that.
One half.
Yeah, but when
what's the first half that he played mostly all season?
I can't believe Burns even on the agenda to talk about.
What would you say? What you saying, Gary? Sorry.
I'm just saying I can't believe we're even talking about Burn on the agenda of keep on.
Well, no, but not get rid. I mean, not get rid. I agree with you, not get rid. But I mean, if Botman is ready and we sign Gahey, somebody's got to come down. Or maybe not.
I agree. That's why I worry about Burn. Yeah, I am. But that's why I worry a little bit about Gahey, because you lose the height of Burn. Botman's still a tall guy, but Gahey's a bit smaller, and I think Eddie likes height. And then if you've got Trippier playing and Lewis Hall playing, let's say, Lascelles is not Livramento's not around. All of a sudden, we're a little bit small.
Yeah, he's good in the air, though, isn't he?
So,
I think it's the pace as well.
Is his
Sorry,
pace.
No,
I think Gay's pace, but he does have a ricket in him, doesn't he? As well, he does seem to have a bit of a Titus Bramble moment in him from time to time. So I'm I'm not so sure, but if they've got their heart set on him, and surely the fee now with 1 year left on his contract can't be that excruciating.
It should be down.
No, I mean, I think Dan Barron probably. How old is Dan Barron, Win?
33.
32,
32, I think.
I think more or less Dan Barron should retire in Newcastle.
Yeah,
I think this has been the season to prove that you can have one of those players that, I guess that you can carry over, but as long as it doesn't compromise the team,
Carry? I don't think he's been carried.
No. I'm saying, but when he
turned 33,
when he by the time he retires, he's going to have to be carried on. That's because he's not going to be the same. Clearly,
no,
right?
yeah, he'll get.
So, but I'm saying, I think we can afford to have that one guy in there. I think we need Burn in there. So
yeah, it's between Burn and Botman, isn't it? Left. I wouldn't move Botman right, so I'd keep it's between Botman and Burn as to who plays. And like
I agree.
Burn's been immense this season, and like just what a season.
Ever since he came in, really.
Aye. I think he's just went levels beyond anyone. I mean, I did see him play sometimes for Brighton. I knew he was a good player, but he's went levels above what anyone thought he would be. I think, and it is tough. Like next season, you're thinking, like you say, Andy, about Botman coming in, and you think, well, you've got to play Botman as well. So unless you play the three at the back, you've got to decide, and it is really tough. I mean, the great thing about Burn is not just on the pitch. I think by all accounts, it's in the dressing room as well, and he's a leader. So hopefully whether he plays or not, we'll have that for the next few years if he stays. I can't help but lean towards Botman when everyone's fit.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, DX as well, it's the height as well, and get Gahey in, you lose a bit of height, so it's juggling all these details.
But I mean, Gahey
I
is
just
somebody.
think Dan Burn can't play 50 games a season next season.
Well, I think that's a good thing as well. If Botman does come in at the start of the season, you are going to probably be a little bit more careful with him. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for Burn either coming off the bench or starting games where we may be quite strong favourites to play, and Botman hasn't got to be risked.
Yeah, we need a good squad. I mean, look, we're going to be fighting on 4 fronts, aren't we, next season? So
no, true, but at the end of the day, though, it's going to again. There's usually the best team play for Champions League and Premier League. Usually.
Well, Aston Villa last year, they had a couple of pretty lesser level games, didn't they, in the Champions League, in the group bit.
In the league format now.
Yeah, in the league format. There's a couple of games where you think, oh, okay, we could maybe pinch a bit here and there.
So I mean,
don't forget as well, right? I know Wynn's saying like you can't play 22 players, but you can play 16. And when you get into 70 minutes and someone's blown out of the backside a little bit, you're bringing somebody on who's just as good or as nearly good, and that's what it's about. That's how we improve, right? You try and improve the first 11, of course you do, but we're trying to improve the first 16, and that's where we've got a bit of room for improvement, I think.
Yeah, and by the way, somebody's mentioning height though. I don't know that we haven't been really.
How tall is he?
Gay is about 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot, 6 foot probably.
I think
but by the way, we're buying him, so it's not clearly Eddie Howe thinks it's all right. We're buying him.
Well, Eddie Howe was a short centre.
Thank you, Ian Fleming, for the super chat to release Mighty Win from jail. Says release Mighty Win.
Thank you, Ian,
too hard on
friend.
There you go. Well, we released him. If you want to put him back in jail, go ahead and super chat. Because 5'11", he's no 5'11", man. Get out of here.
He's got a good leap on him.
182, whatever that is.
Oh, so he's like 5'11" and a half.
Well, no, 182, that's 6 foot.
I think 183 is 6 foot, isn't it? But anyway, it's
a funny's hair, isn't it? Let's be honest. But he does score goals in the opposition box from headers as well.
Exactly. And that's crazy because Dan Burn is not really look, man, come on. How many goals does he score from a header? The final goal, which is great, but other than that. But anyways, so let's move. So Emil Kraft. So what do we do with Emil Kraft? He's always been what I call a spare tire, ready to be used. at any moment. You kind of need those type of players anyway.
If he's happy being the role that he's in, I'd keep him.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Same, yeah.
182, 5'11", apparently.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're talking about Millcraft now, man. So
keep him.
yeah, I think he never gives problems. So
He's not a bad player, is he? Actually, he's not. He's solid.
He's not a bad player. No,
Proper squad player.
He's not special.
he's definitely a squad player.
But every time he plays, he doesn't let us down. You know,
No.
most time anyway.
I mean,
whether it's centre back or
brilliant
right
to start of last season.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
no Paul Dummett, put it that way.
Another guy in question here could be Martin Dubravka. What are we going to do with him? I mean, we spoke about the goalkeepers, but you can clearly he's never going to sign another extension ever with Newcastle.
No.
After the backstabbing the Eddie Howe did,
he did do him up dirty, didn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'd
say
the dirtiest I've ever seen Eddie be.
Ran over, got the bus, ran over him.
I think if we're being kind of nice, we would let him go somewhere in the summer and say.
I think we should be nice and say, look, man, I don't even know.
Go for free.
Yeah, go on for free. I guess you had to put in a
I think that might have been part of the deal,
What deal? He didn't get nothing from the deal. What deal?
But he got a nice seat on the bench.
What more money?
Signed a 1-year extension, didn't he? I think.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a deal, but he was going to go to Saudi for more probably. So
I would let Dubravka go.
Sorry, Gary, go on.
I was just going to say I would let Dubravka go. I think we're gonna be in the market for a new keeper anyway. Whether it's somebody to come in for Pope or start just behind Pope for now. I think for the people commenting before saying Eddie hasn't got any balls, I think he had some balls when he made that decision. By the way, and put Pope in. It's a shame. I think if you combine Dubravka and Pope, you've got like a proper world class keeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I think you've got 35, 36, possibly even coming up to 37. I think
coming up to 37.
Let $1 million for him, let him go and have a swan song. He's been a great servant for the club, and
maybe that's something in his contract that he signed to say if Newcastle brought in another goalkeeper that he could leave on a free or something, because I think everyone was expecting Pope to have to fight a little bit harder to get his place back. The first two games that Pope came back, he wasn't great, let's be honest. And he still kept his whatever Eddie's thinking with Martin.
Yeah. So the last one shouldn't be a no-brainer, really. Before we close up, we still have Isaac Hayden in the squad. I don't even know how and why, but he's still in the squad. I don't know how he's lingering. By the way, how long was his contract, man?
Yeah, he got 6.5 year contract.
Come on, man! For like 3-4 years, he's been loaned out. Nobody wants to buy him.
Rafa gave him that. Rafa loved him, didn't he?
Rafa
gave him that contract.
He's one of the worst players I've ever seen in a black and white shirt.
He had a couple good games. He had a couple good games.
I don't know which ones. which good games did he have?
He was good.
Don't say the winner he scored against Chelsea off his backside.
No, man.
Yeah, he was all right in the Championship. I think he got injured as well, so maybe he didn't come back at his previous level. But he's nowhere near the level for us now.
He's mediocre. He's a mediocre Championship footballer now, isn't he? So
yeah.
Lucky to be Northern League, never mind Championship.
Blythe Spartans, he could get a game there, maybe.
Oh man,
he'd struggle.
I'm waiting for a phone call.
Yeah, but you can't get. How long is his contract? How long is his contract?
He's got 1 more year.
1 more year? Oh my God, man, we can't. So that means we have to loan him out again. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
He's playing for Jamaica now.
Is he?
He resigned from his duties of the English Empire, and he's decided to go. June 26th of 26.
He's only on 15 grand a week. I'm saying own.
You keep saying only for like 6 years, and that money could have been where?
So that's 800,000 fund a year for 6 years. That's not bad enough. It's not bad money, I tell you.
One of Big Mike's genius moves.
Oh my God, man!
That's the thing.
People don't understand that one.
And people say Mike Ashley is an amazing businessman. You know, like that went out the window when you owned us. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, fucking hell. All right, well, hopefully we can find somewhere he can go to for the.
Hopefully we can find somebody to come in
for the Arsenal Newcastle legend Isaac Hayden. Other than that, any other before we go? Any other players you'd like to discuss? I think everybody else pretty much settled down. I know people talk about Isak, but Isak ain't going nowhere.
If we
Hey,
get
by the way, no,
with him.
Osula's a good one, but let's talk about the new signing because I was excited for him. I really am excited for him, and then he's going to be loaned out. I think that is the stupidest thing ever. When
He's very young though.
no, 18 years of age, man. Come on, man. You know, listen, we don't have a signing, and we don't have the luxury to be loaning out players that could be good. Let's try him out for the preseason first, man. You know, let's see what he can do.
Does he play? Does he play left or right?
He can play both, in my opinion. But you know, I think he's played left on most.
Played on the left mostly for Malaga.
Yeah,
well, then he's not going to get enough game time, is he? If we keep
but he can play both, man. He's
What
a free.
league was he playing in? Was it La Liga or was it the league?
Yeah, he came from Malaga. Yeah, Malaga.
Their championship.
No, he's really good, man. He's not just a twat. I'm telling you.
And he's a little bit different to the two that we have. He's not quite as pacey as the two that we've got, but he does like to cut in like them two. But he's a little bit more like a Perez player, where he's a bit cleverer on the ball and picks up space better. I was looking at a few of his stats. I can't say that I've seen him play regularly. I did catch one game of Malaga when I was on holiday. And he does look. He's definitely got something, but I think it probably is a bit early. Alon's probably going to be right for him, Chris, if I'm honest.
What about Jose Perez? We've been linked with him.
Get out of here.
No, we have. We've been linked with him coming back.
Shut up.
Well, no, Mitrovic we've been linked
I
with
loved Perez, to be fair. I loved him. So
I like Ayosi. Ayosi scored a lot of goals, by the way.
I loved Ayosi more than a lot of other people did. I'd say stick up for
as soon
him.
as he had a strike at a playoff, he got goals.
Yeah.
As a backup striker, though,
he was one of those players. If he had time to think what he was going to do in front of goal, he'd cock it up. But if it was pure instinct, it was in the back of the net.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know about the new lad. I mean, I just feel like if we're struggling to find a sign players, then we shouldn't just be loaning them out just cause. And first of all, it ain't like we got a good loan officer. Shola Miobi is rubbish. You see, with his. I mean, he's rubbish, man. He sends. That's why Isaac Hayden. Nobody can buy him. He keeps sending them to the wrong teams, man. Come on, man.
I'm surprised anyone's picked up Isaac Hayden just for the fact that
but
he covers right across the midfield. I'm surprised.
Maybe Shola deserves a knighthood as well. We don't know. We shall talk about that one. Anyways, folks, thank you for watching. All of you, over 100 people watching the show today. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, sign up for the tournament. And what do we got tomorrow? Tomorrow at midday show, we got one coming for you, and that should be it for the week. And we'll be back again when we be back. So thank you, everybody that's become a member. Lemmy, I think, become a member today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Win. Thank you, Andy Bell. Thank you, Tim. Hopefully we see come back with Tim to the group, man. He just listen. We have a group.
This is what it's about.
Don't let the negative twats win, man.
Not. You see, this is what it was about. It's entertaining opinions without any snotty playground stuff.
Exactly. So thank you, DX, as well, for coming. And we'll be back again tomorrow. Appreciate it, folks. Take care.
Away the lads.